Hey y'all, Trent here, and I am back with another Fear Street review. Today I am continuing my time with Paradise Season 2. We're talking about episodes 4 and 5. We're talking specifically, the titles are A Holy Charge and The Mailman. Both episodes are currently available on Disney Plus or Hulu, which are kind of the same thing if you didn't really know. Anyway, I am who I am, and I'm going to try not to give spoilers, but I can't promise anything. So if you need to pause, go watch these two episodes and then come back. I 100% respect that choice. Um, but going forward, let's talk about the synopsis for these two episodes. Episode 4, we are talking about A Holy Charge. Xavier and Annie travel to Atlanta, uh, contrasting life in the new world and the one he left behind in the bunker. And then episode 5, we're talking about the mailman. Xavier meets Gary and learns what happened to Terry on the day. Okay, so a couple of my quick thoughts because again, I'm not trying to get into spoilers. Episode 4, if you've watched it, you know it is hard to watch. It's emotional, right? Um, they really build up a character to really. I'm not gonna say let us down because like it was a payoff that worked. And I think that's really what they're doing this season is showing the brutality of this world, especially with like what happens in episode 4, and then also what we saw in the premiere episode with Gail, who I loved that character, and I was so upset with what happened to her. Again, this is post-apocalyptic, a post-apocalyptic world, and we should be ready for people that we or characters that we love to not continue because that is just the way that these stories should go. I mean, the world's not easy, right? Especially in this kind of environment. So I get it, and it's just, but it is it's a heart puller, heartstring. Get your tissue, have your tissues ready. Anyways, I do like the question that they introduced it in the first episode again with the premiere, but with this Annie not trusting anyone. Um, I think that that's a really interesting question, especially when dealing with a post-apocalyptic world, because like that's easy, right? But even in difficult circumstances, we do have to find ways to trust each other. One human being, a lone wolf, is not as successful as a pack. So I think that that's a really interesting dynamic that they're utilizing between Xavier and Annie in this episode. Um, in general, I do tend to agree that the season is still a little slow. I do think it's because there's a lot of like um extraneous plot lines that are happening and it's hard to like feel a momentum in the plot of the season. So yeah, I do still think it's still a little slow. Um Moving on a little bit to episode 6. The mailman is episode 5. So, okay, my bad. Moving on to episode 5, the mailman. I really thought it was fun to bring in to really let us watch Terry's story after the day. It is a little predictable. I'm not gonna lie. I was predicting what does happen if not at the beginning of this episode, at the end of last episode. So like I just it was not shocking in my opinion. And I don't think any femme or queer person will find it shocking. I think they wanted it to be shocking, but I just don't think it was. I do enjoy their use of some more diverse identities in this episode. Um, we get kind of a neurodivergent um, character in this episode, which I like that they don't necessarily label him as that. That's just the way I read it, and of course, if you see it differently than me, that is 100% valid, especially if you are also neurodivergent. Um, I that's how I read the character, and I think that that's really interesting. And of course, I'm always going to highlight our queer representation with Crystal and Jackie, Chef's Kiss. I hope that they continue in this show. I think that they're really cute. The actors are both incredible. I hope that they continue. So yeah, props to them. I do feel like episode five. No, yes, episode five. Sorry, my episode numbers are getting out of control. Anyways, episode five, I do think is setting us up for a really kind of dramatic, intense episode next week. So I'm excited for that because we kind of need it. We haven't really had that yet, in my opinion. So I am excited for that. So in as I wrap all this up, I'm gonna say for drinks, I'm giving these two episodes 3.5 drinks again. I do think this season has potential. I just don't think it's reached said potential. Um, and I'm hoping that it does fairly quickly because I'm kind of getting a little bored. So, but like I said, I do have hope for this next week's episode. So we'll see, but we'll see. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Um, yeah. Also, I know this one will be posted late on Tuesday. Be expecting these moving forward earlier on Tuesdays. This weekend was just kind of crazy for me, and I wasn't able to watch yesterday's episode until like an hour ago. So, um, be expecting these earlier on Tuesday. But yeah, I'm excited to continue our time in Paradise Season 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, make sure that you stay fierce out there.